All right, welcome back everybody. I'm Matt Adams.
And I'm Jamie Hodges.
And we're here at Katsucon. Gonna show you what the Katsucon experience is all about with this brand new EXP episode.
One up.
We're gonna warm you up a little bit, talk to some cosplayers, show you what Katsucon's all about, what it looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful location here at the Gaylord Hotel.
This is our first time. If there's one thing I have to say, you never forget your first.
Then we're gonna let Jesse finish you off a little bit with some Cherami Leigh.
Cherami Leigh.
From Sword Art Online.
And Sailor Moon.
All right, so let's stop wasting time up here. Let's go down here. Let's go down here and let's go check it out. We're just gonna jump. You can take the elevator. Okay everybody, I am standing here again in the awesome presence of Jeff Reyor. A lot of you might recognize him from our Awesome-Con video as that kick-ass shredder that we talked to. As you can see, he's been at it again.
Okay, I'm cosplaying Dwalin from The Hobbit.
And I've been following this project personally so that I know that the weapons are made out of wood. What can you tell us as far as what it takes to work and shape wood into getting this like awesome realistic look?
As far as shaping wood, you gotta have the right tools. Power sanders, Dremel tools. This took a couple weeks to make. It's one solid piece of wood here, and another here it's joined with some bolts. This is actually about 14 pounds, so it's kind of heavy. The ones on my back, I made out of pine wood, because pine wood is light, and I wanted to be able to carry them on my back without pulling my costume apart. I made this in the costume last year, it took about a month and a half, and then I made the back holster this year. It took about a couple weeks.
I have a question for you. Personally, when I choose my cosplays and stuff, well, if it's a TV show, I like watch the TV show on repeat like constantly while I'm working, or if there's a theme song or something, I just like try to listen to it as much as I can while I'm working. Do you do anything like that with your project?
Yeah, just this morning. It takes 3 hours to do all of this, and I put the movie on this morning, and right as it ended, I was done. And, you know, we left. But yeah, I've watched Desolation of Smaug and Unexpected Journey over and over and over again. It feeds the mood, I should say, and it's good vibes.
What goes into choosing your cosplays?
Oh boy, I have to be super passionate about this character. I have to identify with him. I have to have something I really like. As far as like Shredder, I grew up with the Turtles, and the Punisher. I love the Punisher for so many reasons, but as far as dwarves, I've always loved the dwarves. And originally I thought I would choose Dwalin because he seemed like the easiest one, but I was wrong. And I just fell in love with the character and just the characters of dwarves, their ancestry, all there is to know about them. I'm obsessed.
What kind of advice would you give to anyone who's just starting out in this awesome, wonderful hobby?
When you're going to a con, bring some super glue and some stuff to repair. Stuff's gonna fall apart. You don't want to show up and have something you've been working on for months just fall off.
Definitely good advice. You're almost guaranteed to run into that eventually at some point in time.
Do you guys want to take a moment to tell us about who you guys are personally and what characters you guys are playing as?
I am an original design. I call it Sky Warrior.
And who are you?
It's just kind
You
of
as a person.
Oh,
yeah.
Hi. I am Marcy. I am Lady Eversport Cosplay.
I am actually cosplaying Lady Rainicorn today from Adventure Time, and I'm Alana Leilani. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under that.
All right. So, what into making the costumes here, especially as an original one? How did that work? Did you have to go through a lot of different redesigns? Is this a character you've used for something else, or?
I probably redesigned this like 2 or 3 times. As I got the materials, I found different things that worked better for them, so I just kept like changing it and working with it. And it was actually a lot of fun to have the creative freedom.
How'd you come up with it? Like, what was the inspiration?
A doodle I did in art class.
Well, I love Lady Rainicorn. I love Adventure Time. I've done Flame Princess, Lumpy Space Princess, Fiona. I just really love Adventure Time. So I want to do Lady Rainicorn. And at first I wanted to have these long, trailing, like rolling carts behind me and have like a dress that was just an extreme problem. But then I was like, okay, maybe this won't work. How would I transport it? So then I just decided to make it really as wide as possible because I genuinely enjoy apparently being an inconvenience to everyone around me.
Is it handmade as well?
Yes. Well, I mean, I sewed it myself. I didn't hand sew this. I had a machine.
Well, that's sewing is an art. Like that, I can't go anywhere near it.
No, you can't. I have like a 4-foot radius.
Yeah. Are the other Adventure Time themed cosplays you do similar style, or?
All of them are fancy except for my Fiona, which was a little bit more of a Fiona.
Bazinga! Fiona, get it? What about your cosplay repertoire? Do you do anything else?
I do a bit of everything. I did some League of Legends yesterday, which was really fun. Lunar Goddess Diana. And I do a little bit of Adventure Time too. I think your specialty is armor. Yeah, I like armor. I did Steampunk Marceline, and I've been getting a lot more into armor lately, but I like to be able to do my own take on characters and like show them in different perspectives.
Really good. That gives you more creative freedom, like you had said earlier, and it's good to see different variations of how the direction cosplay can go in, versus sewing and armor and whatnot. So if no one's been to Katsucon before, let's hear a reason as to why they should be here.
It is completely gorgeous. All of the stuff everywhere. It is one of the most beautiful conventions.
All right, so like life is really stressful and sometimes you just get all this pent-up aggression. So the best way to get rid of it is to just fight people to the death for the gazebo. So that's why you should come to Katsucon.
How many murders are we at so far this weekend?
How many bodies do you think are under my skirt?
I'm Kelsey, and I am Sailor Moon.
I'm Gina G, and I am Sailor Chibi Moon.
First of all, is this our first Katsucon, or are we regulars? We always come back?
This is my first as well as hers.
Okay, no problem there. This is actually our first too. So why don't you go ahead and describe to anyone who hasn't been to Katsucon what it's like, since this has been your first time, and you can kind of break the ice for them.
Well, first of all, the space is amazing. It's like a giant hotel on steroids or something.
There are so many amazing photo shoot locations here, just indoors alone. and it's like its own little community. So everyone here is here for Katsucon, and it's really cool to see like how many people come to this event.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed even when I like left the con and we walked around, it's like almost like the whole town is still the convention. What the show mainly focuses on is the cosplay aspect itself. So did we make everything that we're looking at, order it, piece it together, get it from various things, make, you know, all that kind of stuff?
Well, this cosplay is actually a throwback for me. It was the first one I ever did, so I was kind of overwhelmed. So I bought something and then I built onto it. So the shoulder rolls, hip rolls, bows are all mine, but the basic leotard is not.
Mine is actually made by Olivia's Atelier in Cosplay. She's on Facebook. We do a big Sailor Moon group together, so she made all of them for us. The wig is me, the boots are me, but the outfit is her.
So what goes into like wig making then? We've never really talked about that before.
Oh my god, it's a nightmare. If you can avoid doing wigs, avoid it. But a lot of hairspray, a lot of really strong extra hold hairspray, and bobby pins.
What goes into choosing what cosplay you want to do?
Well, I love Sailor Moon, so if it's Sailor Moon, it's done. But I generally like to pick characters that I resonate with. So Sailor Moon is probably my favorite because she's a hero, but at the same time, she's a little clumsy, a little goofy, with a heart of gold, which is what I like to think I am. So I like to pick characters I identify with in my heart.
And how about for you?
Kind of the same, but I also like to do really obscure costumes or costumes that will challenge me because I'm also a makeup artist. So like Thorin from The Hobbit, applying the beard. I've done Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter. I've done Power Girl from DC Comics. Like I have a huge variety of costumes.
Wow, that's really awesome. So I'm assuming we have cosplay pages then that we would like people to check out?
Absolutely.
All right, go right ahead and tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, mine is facebook.com/Misrae Cosplay. That's MISRAE.
And mine is facebook.com/Red Ribbon Cosplay. And you'll find my name Gina G and Red Ribbon Cosplay.
I keep forgetting it.
Can't find Zill's magical journey. Where are we? I don't know. We're here interviewing Cherami Leigh.
Hi.
Well, first of all, I'm like a big fan of Sword Art Online.
Oh, awesome!
So that's
Thank you.
like why I really wanted to interview
Thank you so much.
Sailor Moon's cool and all too.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get too into that. First of all, is this your first Katsucon or?
It is my first Katsucon. It's not my first time in DC, but it is my first time at this specific convention.
That's good. This is actually our first one too, and so we're finding it actually really fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah, but what about other events that you go to? Are they as big as this, or?
I mean, some of them are smaller, some of them are a little bit bigger. There's like different, when you do like a Comic-Con kind of thing, those are really massive, and there's so many different types of people. I really like going to specifically anime conventions. I feel like it's easier to meet everybody and kind of not get so overwhelmed by the massive amount of people. But yeah, this is, I think, such a fun size. It's big enough that there's a million things to do, but it's like small enough that you can meet people, communicate with them. It's like find your friends in the crowd of people. It's been awesome.
Fun size.
Yeah, it's a fun size con.
No, yeah, they've definitely got a great space.
Yeah.
Space. You're talking about meeting fans and stuff. How flattering is it to like see people like cosplay characters?
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and the first time it happened, I was like, I kind of geeked out. It's the same thing, and it's walking around the dealer's room and you see like bags with your character on it, or like statues with your character on it. That's always been like a dream of mine, is to like play a character that gets like an action figure or voice a character. And here it's like you walk around the dealer's room and you're like, that's me. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And the first time it happened, I like nerded out, and then it's been years and I still nerd out exactly the same way. I know with Bryce and I, when Sword Art Online came out, he and I were like freaking out about the massive amount of Sword Art Online cosplayers. So we were like, hi, can we take your picture? We're trying to get to an event and they won't let us stop. So we're like just snapping selfies all the way through. And yeah, and Bryce and I would like then say like, well, I got 14. He was like, well, I got 17. And like at every convention we went to, we would like text each other like how many pictures we had. So we had a little competition.
Oh my god. It's funny because, you know, like while you're geeking out, you know, everybody else is geeking out about seeing you too.
And we think that's so weird because we're like, they're like dressed up, they look so cool. We're like normal people. We're like, we want to take pictures with them.
So we know you do a lot of voice acting stuff. We're actually curious about the rest of your career. What about live action acting?
Oh, awesome.
Do you do that too?
I do, yeah.
Have you done stage work, film work?
I have. I started acting when I was 5 and wanted to be on Barney. That didn't happen, but I was auditioning for film and TV, so that was how I kind of got into it. I started doing stage when I was like 11, 12 in middle school because they didn't have like a film department there. I guess they don't trust middle schoolers with cameras. I don't blame them. But even when I got to high school, they still didn't have a film department. So I did theater and one act, and I did the whole thing, the traditional high school theater experience that way, which was fun. While I was still doing on-camera work and auditioning for TV shows and films, so I'd just be gone from school for a week, get my homework done, and turn it in, stay up till 2 a.m., which was awesome. And then when I graduated, I started doing more and more voiceover. And I still do on-camera stuff, so it kind of gets a little tricky sometimes. Something we'll want to record at the studio, but then you'll be on location for a film, and you're like, I can try to make this work. Can we find a studio here when I'm on location? And I'll go in and match flaps or do what I need to do. So, but that, I mean, it's a very exciting life when that happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have so many things to do, and I've been so many different places, and it's like a crazy adventure. And though I do get stressed because I want to make the schedule work for everybody the easiest way possible. It's one of those things where you're like, well, champagne problems. I'm getting to work on so many cool projects. How can I complain?
So what's like the difference, you'd say, like, if any, between like doing live acting versus like voice acting?
Some people are like, well, you have to do less for film, and I don't think that it's less. I feel like it's just a different emphasis on things. I mean, when I'll do on-camera acting, like if it's for a film, depending on the style of the film, but most of the films I've worked on have been more dramatic films where they want everything to be more realistic, and you can't do kind of the comedy, funny faces that you would in the booth trying to get the same kind of wacky expressions to match the animation. Your eyes are bigger, hand motions are going crazy, but when you're on camera, you can't have all that stuff going on because it's very distracting, especially on a massive screen. Like, why is she doing that weird thing with her eyebrows? Please stop. So you have to be cognizant of those different things that are going on. You also have a mic for voiceover that will be like right in your face, and the lines are already there, but you're matching flaps, so that's an interesting thing for animation.
Watching animation while you're
Watch the animation while you're reading it. You'll get the script as soon as you walk in, so you read it, and then you like hope for the best as you'll preview it, and then like hope that you don't forget your lines. So it's been really good on quick memorization if you can do that. Sometimes I'll just say like, I have 17 sentences in this one line. I'm just gonna read it, and we'll see what we can do, and we'll do it multiple times.
So when you're trying to to get feelings out of someone, especially with like Sword Art Online, where that's been done like in a different language already. Do you ever take the chance to just listen to what they've already gone through and the emotions they've kind of tried to put into
Absolutely.
the lines?
We will watch. I don't think when I've dubbed something, be it like I've dubbed stuff from a German language. I mean, primarily we're always working with Japanese for anime, but we will always preview the Japanese so that we can hear the intention, hear the inflection, hear the tone. And obviously that's what made the show popular and gave us the allowance to do it, was what they did the first time. So we always want to maintain that. But sometimes the jokes don't translate or the relationships don't translate. We'll have to change some of those things. And it's always with the permission or the Japanese producers and creators saying, you have to do it this way because this is not the way the American culture is, and we want the American culture to understand how it worked for us, and we want it to be as close as possible in an American audience that they can relate to it. So that kind of stuff changes, but the integrity is always the same. Depending on the director, some of them will say, like, watch the series all the way through if you can before we work on it. Some of them say, like, we want you to watch it, we want the emotion to be fresh, and then we want to go in and do the version. So, like, whatever they made you feel, we want you to take that and put it right back into the show. With Sword Art Online, I watched the entire series before I went in to record, and of course, there's a lot of things that happened. Yeah. I got sucked into the show. I was like watching them back to back to back to back, and I had to take a break after certain things happened near the episode 12 mark. I was very devastated. So, and that was before I knew I was playing the character. So then when I found out I was playing the character, when I was rewatching it again, it was not just me watching from a bystander perspective. It's almost like when you read a book, when you put yourself into a character, you're like, I'm feeling this from a whole new perspective now. This is so intense. So that was really fun to get to experience that show from two sides.
Is it weird hearing your own voice, like if you watch it afterwards, and like especially since you even heard it in like Japanese first, and then to hear it differently? How does that?
The first couple of episodes is kind of weird. Once I get used to it, and that happens with every show. Like the first couple of episodes, when I'm listening to my voice, I'll go, that sounds odd. But I work for Radio Disney, and so I do a lot of VO commercials. So even when I hear myself on the radio, and I've been working for them since I was 10, I'll be like, that's me. And when I watch myself on a TV show, I'm just like very hypercritical about why your hair looks weird there, or why did you say the line that way, or and then I have to just like take myself out of it and know that, well, why don't I just watch the scene the way that I did the scene, and I usually can enjoy it a little bit better. I'm still a little critical, but
is it like when you hear yourself over someone else's voicemail or something?
Yeah, and you're like, is that what I sound like? But yeah, when we'll do different voices or different inflections, that's definitely an interesting thing. I'm like, is that what that voice really sounds like? It sounded like I'll do like I think I did a video game where it was a fighting game, and my character was like supposed to have a really deep voice. I'm like, is that really what that sounds like? It felt so much deeper when I was doing it, but it still sounds pretty girly. So that's kind of weird how that works out. If
there were like any series that you could do work on, voice or live action, like if sort of another anime or any project could be turned into a show,
okay,
what would you want?
I love all those epic movies. I love the like Harry Potter movies, that kind of stuff, where there's all these like epic things that you can kind of attach to it. Love Walking Dead. I love those kind of things. Game of Thrones, awesome. I just want to like work and play characters. So if somebody wants to put me into a universe where I can completely submerge myself and kind of say like, now how would I exist in this universe under the guise of this character? So I like to do all the things that are things that I don't experience in my normal life. I had a friend that was like, yeah, we want you to play like a character that has like a drinking problem, that has a drug problem. I was like, yes, please. Because I have never experienced that. No, I mean, like, we got some, like, fake stuff together. I didn't, like, do anything. So I worked on that. But I feel like as an actor, one of the things that I love about being an actor is being able to view life from someone else's perspective that I wouldn't normally get the opportunity to, and see how these life experiences might make them think about things differently than the way I think about things.
Beautiful art.
Yeah, well, that's the fun part about it. That's the part that I don't even think is work. The work part of it is like hit your mark, and it's like, what? There's a tape mark, and I was like having a moment with this person, and I got to worry about blue tape. So that's like the technical, or like you have like a mic pack and they're like, once you like plop down on this couch and you're like, oh, my mic pack just fell off and made a huge horrible noise and let's do the scene again. Like that kind of stuff is the technical stuff that you have to, the acting part is the fun part. And once you get in the scene with the other person and you can just connect and have a conversation, that's the best. That's the other fun part about being an actor is like, if you make certain choices in life, people go, they're a horrible human being, or they should go to jail. But if you get to do those things like in a film, you get to go home and you're like, I just did a lot of illegal things today that were totally legal because it was a movie. Like, that's where I get to be a rebel. I find myself like, things I would never do.
That's why you get into acting.
Yeah, totally. I actually have to be a really well-behaved person, otherwise I would be very self-conscious. But like, people say like, do you have an issue playing this character? Am I gonna go to jail? No. Then I love it. This is amazing. Sure, let me play with a gun. That sounds great. Yeah. Oh my god, this is insane.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
You can borrow it if you ever need to.
That's so cool. Yeah, and that's the best part about independent film too, is, I mean, and you guys know, you don't have the caterers, you don't have the expensive, you know, equipment half the time, you don't have the permits or the expensive locations or the wardrobe.
The cops all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, these are just fake. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're making a movie. Oh,
you make movies because you love to do it,
Yeah.
and you have actors that love to do it, and then if something comes from it, you're like, perfect, because we all did this for the love of it, so this is just bonus at this point.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is bonus. My day doesn't get better than that.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Well, it's that time. The con is closing down. People are taking off the costumes, packing up the art,
Taking off their clothes.
putting the merch away. Everyone's going home. It's back to real life tomorrow. This is the part that I hate the most.
But we had fun. We had a great time. We got to meet some awesome people. We saw some great cosplays. We conducted a great interview. Cherami Leigh. It's a good time.
So yeah, we're gonna do what everybody else is doing now and hang our heads and take our con blues elsewhere. So this has been Katsucon, everybody, and White Tiger FIlmz will see you in the next Comic-Con EXP video.
Or at the next con.
Whichever comes first.
We're done.
We're done. Game over.